Guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Well, it's inevitable. I come out and I do a video where I talk about the price of certain parts that are inside the amp, and it's like that night, that day, or that week, RF Parts has changed their prices on things, and I didn't bother to, did not bother to double check what the prices are before I came out and I said something on video. So I did the video on the Viking last night, which I thought you guys would find interesting. I'm sure somebody out there's just got to have that thing. My whole thing is I just wanted to fix it, and the parts that are in it are incredibly expensive. That was the point I was trying to get across. But I started getting lit up last night, and it seems like a lot of you guys are just not quite getting it. That the price of the 2879 is at the... We see this every time a product comes to the end of its life. We've seen this with the MRF 477. We've seen this when the 1969 final was doing its thing there in the 90s. The 477, we used to buy those by the pound. Okay. We were paying like $25 a pound, and they would come in these Ziploc bags. It's a little three-legged transistor, the one that's back in the very back of an HR 2510. And we were doing Cobra 29 final upgrades where we pulled the 1969 out, or the 2166 or whatever, pull it out, flip-flop the legs, and put a 477 in there, and the guy would pick up and go up to about 50 watts, fairly steady. But then what happened with it was all of a sudden they went to where you could only buy 100 for like $50 a piece. And then you went to where you could only buy 10 for $100 a piece. And then they went to where you're paying $100 for each transistor. Now, they're still out there. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. You can go and get on eBay, and you can go and get on Amazon, and you can find a part that is labeled the same for the most part. There's a lot of knockoffs that are out there. But that part went not so expensive, a little bit more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, than retardedly expensive. Okay? And that's what we've seen happen with the 2879. So, the reason I came here today is because I wanted to look at this, the BLF 188XR. Okay? So, I thought I'd shoot a quick video. Now, the 188XR has come up in price quite a bit. That's now $197.95. The last couple dozen that I bought from these guys, I think I paid $85 for them, or $87 or $89.99 or whatever. That was like 3 months ago. At one point we were paying $155 for them. Now, the 188 is a great component, but it's starting to fall to the wayside as we start to move forward once again. It's a great part. It's going to be a legacy piece. It's going to be around for a while. Great component. Amphion, this is no longer made by NXP. They've given that over to Amphion. Amphion is another giant mega corporation in China. There's some huge differences between the two components, the Amphion component and the NXP component, but that's not why I'm here. Needless to say, this part is starting to become more expensive, and even if we do a big batch that they're advertising here, 192.95, but this is still a current run component. But because once again this is already a 10-15 year old part, there's nothing new about this component, you guys. It's been around for a long time. The prices are starting to go up. That, we've got the import tariff to deal with also. It's probably what causes the reflection of this component price increase. Okay, so 2SC2879. Let's go take a look at this real quick. Alright. So, we have the RFP 2SC2879 17-3Q. The ones that I like are the 16-08s. The reason we like those is because they intermix with Toshibas on a fairly regular basis, and they have a tendency to stay quite stable. 1608 is when he finally hit upon the right wafer to make it so that We could do the volting thing that we like to do. They have the same output aspect issues. They have the same leak down capabilities as the 2879, and I personally felt he should pause the brakes on the term 2879 right there. And it's really hard to get across to North or Wang or whatever his name is that he needs to quit changing this sub number. It's causing a lot of confusion in the market. But what do I know? I'm just the one stuck over here dealing with it. So the 17-3Q, it's a little murky to me. I've had the people at RF Parts explain it to me from the standpoint of that this is RFP is their part number, obviously, for RF Parts. Okay. Is this a different lot? Now, the reason I say it's murky to me is because they claim it is. I've been told that it is, the same as the 16 DO8s, but now he's gone forward and he's produced this other part, the HG 2879, 17, whatever. And then you've got 18s, and now the last pieces that he sent me to review were like 19 something. And they're, each one of them, the wafers increase and the quality of the component gets better, and they're now putting out more power than the 2879. Don't get your mind stuck on that, by the way, you guys, because we have to radically change how to structure the box. And the components around the components that surround the transistor, you have to radically change them a little bit to achieve that little bit more of output power. And it's just a little bit more. It's like 10 watts and then 15 watts and 25 watts more than the Toshiba-based product line. I haven't bothered to buy any of these yet to test them. And what I mean by test them is on my $2,500 Tektronix transistor tester. I've got another transistor tester here that I can put up to 100 amps on the component and literally blow the component apart from the inside out if I wanted to. This is a good part. He's offering this 30-piece or this $30 a piece price, and the $29.95, we all know that that's just an advertising gimmick, right? We just round up that extra 5 cents. So this is what's confusing to me about RF Parts' page, and it's really confusing to a lot of other people. Why even offer up the match set of 4 if you're out of stock? Just take it off your webpage. Same thing here, a match set, a match pair of Toshibas, K409. Now, we're going to scroll down here, match set of 8, we're going to look around that. The 2879 Toshiba transistor as of today, this minute, right now, is 204.95. Okay? Now what we don't know is how many he's willing to sell us. So like if I came and I showed up and I took 20 grand and I threw it on the table and said, hey, I want to buy 100 of these pieces, I highly doubt he'd sell them to me. I highly doubt. So I'm sure there's a limit to this. I'm positive there's a limit to this. But that 204 price in the last year has done this. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The other day it was 209.95. Okay, and that's for one transistor. So now where people get confused is this red dot and non-red dot. Guys, the only difference between the two components is the material that the foot of the transistor is made of. One's got beryllium in it, that's the non-red dot. Then the red dot does not have beryllium in it, so therefore it is what they call ROHS, R-O-H-S, compliant. Otherwise it's still legal for them to import, sell, export, and sell in California and multiple other states, because the beryllium has kind of been banned all over the place. It's just universally just bad. How does it affect us, the end user? It doesn't, because we don't go and sand or scrape or modify or do anything with the foot of this. If you sand this thing into dust and then inhale the foot, the metal that makes up the foot, and ingest it into your person, you're going to have some problems down the road. It's just a fact. Your body can't do anything with it. It ends up mutating the cells that are around it, and it does cause cancer. It's fact. It's not an opinion. It's fact. Global warming, climate change. Climate change is a real thing. Period. Fact. Okay, so, and believe it or not, we do live on a round ball. Well, round-ish. It ain't flat. It's a fact. Let it go. It's over. The argument stops. I don't care what Instagram and Twitter say. Fact. Okay, I'm still offering a price here, but I mean, is he holding this out as hope so we can be optimistic that he might have enough transistors to supply us again? I highly doubt it. So The non-red dots are 204.95 today. Now this is starting to become like we're trading in commodities, like, you know, pork bellies or stocks. Like we're trading in, you know, property or cars, or the value of the components changes almost on a daily basis based off of this one company. Okay, because it's the only place that we can get reliable components. When I first started out, there was so many people that came to me all the time. Oh, I got this guy that gets them in Mexico and he brings them over the border for me. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in, if I'm going to give my money to somebody, I know what product I'm going to get. And so far, the only one on Earth or in the United States that has stayed true to that is the RF Parts Company. Okay, so they have a monopoly on this market. They know it. I'm not letting any secrets out of the bag here. Believe me, they know this because they have it under contract to be this way. Okay, so when we go to the non-red dots, this week, for some reason, when he says special price, this is a fact. The rest of us have been buying these at $209 for a pair. This price right here. $209 for a pair. And we've been doing that now for about 4 or 5 months. Now the problem is that you're only allowed to buy one pair per day, per purchase. That's not explained here anywhere. So after we take into account the $15 charge that they smack us with for shipping, okay, this really works out to be about $230 per pair for 2 transistors. And I want to make that really clear. It gets very irritating as a builder or a repair guy like myself. When you charge the guy for 1 transistor, you say, okay, well, cool. I'm going to put this transistor in your box and you're going to owe me $115 for the transistor. Everybody immediately gets into this defensive cocky mode. Well, I looked at RF Parts' webpage myself 2 days ago, and they're $209 a set. Great. You want to go buy them and send them to me, and by the time it's said and done, you're going to pay me more than $130 transistor. I'm not marking them up any. I got to cover my cost of shipping to get them here. Knock it off, guys. This is our job. Now, this is neat. For $90, okay, what he's basically telling you here is for a non-matched transistor. The match doesn't mean anything to me anymore at this point in the game. It really doesn't. It used to. There used to be a really big thing about that. To me, now, as long as the component is actually what it is, and it's got the internal structure, architecture that I'm looking for, if the beta gain's within 5 or 10, you know, of each other, we're good. Because as soon as you go and put the transistors in operation, the transistors are going to stabilize to the environment that's around them. Your HFE gain is going to stabilize, and the components are going to become matched anyhow. Fact, not opinion. Fact. So to see that he's willing to take $20 off single piece price, okay, that's a good thing. Don't run out and go buy these like crazy, because he'll rip these down in a second. But let's talk about that Viking. What I was trying to say to everybody in the Viking video is that I have 16 of these transistors in that box that are matched at the moment. He's got the lot number 5H. All the ones that we've been getting are 1Ks and shit. This is a non-red dot transistor. So there's 16 non-red dot matched transistors in that Viking. The video that came out yesterday is what I'm talking about. At $204 a piece, or $204.95, so $205 a piece. We do the simple math, man. So 205 times 16. I'm basically selling that Viking for the cost of the transistors. The amplifier that's around it does not count for anything anymore. Now, is this realistic? No, it's not. Because we can go up here and for $30 or less, we can go get ourselves a component that produces the exact same amount of power, the exact same quality of signal, and you can operate underneath almost like exactly identical situations. Almost. So instead of $3,208 for transistors, we're going to take 16 again, and we're going to times that by $29.95. I don't think I need to explain anything more. I really don't. This $204 price, yes, there can be a little bit of false ramping for profit margin. I haven't seen that. I've seen Merit stay pretty consistently the same. He knows what he's into those parts for. He knows how many there are left in the market share. It's all documented. It's all over the place. There's a couple thousand more in Germany. There's a few more that are in Canada. There's a couple thousand more that are in Israel, and then there's several thousand more that are in one of the European countries. But they're all out there on an inventory list, and if you go dig hard enough, you can find that inventory list just like I did. Now, I don't know, I haven't looked at that list in probably a year and a half, but I'm pretty sure Merit's probably gone out and mined this sucker to the teeth. He's been pretty reasonable. If he's asking $204.95, that means he's only got maybe 1,000 or so of these left. And he's thinking that the options of being able to get a hold of these anymore are going to very quickly diminish. Once again, this doesn't matter to me. This price, you could put $600 on this and they're still going to sell. They're not going to sell as quick, but they're going to sell. Because people still think that there's some kind of difference between the two and how they operate. Non-red dot and red dot. There is not. And in my opinion, the red dot transistor actually, when they came back and their guys sharpened their pencils and they rubbed their cone heads against the table, the material makeup that they came up with for the foot of the transistor, in my opinion, conducts the heat away from the wafer insert that's inside the transistor better than the non-red dots. That's just my opinion, and we're all entitled to our opinions, and that's mine. Very rarely state opinions, but I'm telling you, that's what I think. So, at the end of the day, this number is only going to go up. And what I wanted to do was cover some of these talking points with you guys. I wanted there to be some clarification that yes, there's 16 transistors in that one amplifier. Yes, after shipping, you are looking at roughly about $210 a transistor. It is the way it is. Now, this is all subject to change. I might put this video out and tomorrow, that price might change. It might go down. It might go up. It might go sideways. I can't predict that. But as of this moment, that's the price point. So, if you've got a 16-pill transistor amplifier out there and all the transistors in it are good, and you know they're good, and they're tested, and you can prove it, in rough numbers, well, let me dial that back. If you've got 16 transistors that have got an RF parts sticker on the bag and they're brand new and they're tested and you can show a sales receipt from RF parts for these parts, you've got something equivalent in this value. Okay? That's just what it is. Now, the transistors in an amplifier, that's an unknownium number. Almost got off track there. Almost, but I reeled it back in. The reason I say it's an unknownium number is because we don't know what the condition of the transistors are until we pull them out and put them on a beta gain checker. Well, I know what I put in those boxes, and I know what I put in there because I'm the one that put it together. Okay? All those transistors had a beta gain over 70 that are in that box, so they're new. Alright? And I'm not letting that box go for one on less than what I asked for it. Because once again, to replace all of those transistors in that box with the components that are currently in it is $3,279.20 before shipping. And I don't know if there's any limitations on how many of these we can buy. I don't know if I've got to buy them in multiple purchases, which means multiple different levels of tax that I have to pay. You see, you guys see the conundrum, right? I don't think I can make this any clearer. So guys, I appreciate everybody fact checking me all the time. I love that. I love that your fact checks on my prices on things. It's great. I'm sorry I was out of date by a couple days. $204 per transistor. I think I've ran it enough. Guys, I got to go back to work. I got sitting over here right now a 2x6 that I've been working on and off on here now for quite some time. And look at that. All non-red dots. No, one's got, no, the driver's section's got red dots. Final section's non-red dots. I lied. There's a lot of money in there. Then I've got a 2x4 that's the same way. I got a 16 pill that's the same way, and I got a 24 pill that's the same way. This shit's about ready to get expensive. Like, retarded expensive. You guys have a good day. I'll see you.